prayers of Holy Fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Today, February 25, civil calendar, and February 12, the church calendar, we commemorate Saint Meletius, Archbishop of Antioch. This great and holy man was an outstanding interpreter and defender of orthodoxy. The whole of his life was devoted to the fight against the Arian heresy, which did not recognize the Son of God and blasphemed against the Holy Trinity. He was 3 times removed from his episcopal throne by the heretics and driven off into Armenia. The struggle between the Orthodox and the heretics became so bitter that once, while St. Meletius was preaching to the people in church on the Divine Trinity in unity, his own deacon, a heretic, ran up to the bishop and shut his mouth with his hand. Being unable to preach with words, Meletius preached by signs. Thus he raised his arm on high, opened 3 fingers to their fullest extent, and showed them to the people. Then closed his hand and raised the one first. He took part in the Second Ecumenical Council in 381, where the Emperor Theodosius showed him especially great honor. At that council, God showed a mystery through his archbishop. When Meletius was propounding the doctrine of persecutors, but freely and openly preached the Christian faith, he endured all tortures as though not in the body. When Meletius was propounding the doctrine of the Holy Trinity to the Arians, he first raised 3 fingers, separated one by one, then brought them together, and at the moment, lightning flashed from his hand before the gaze of all present. At that council, Meletius established Gregory the theologian in the seat of Constantinople. While the council was still in session, St. Meletius finished his earthly course in Constantinople. His credits were taken to Antioch. Lord have mercy. St. Alexis, Metropolitan of Moscow. St. Alexis was a great hierarch of the Russian Church during a difficult period of Tatar oppression of the Russian people. Once in childhood, he went bird hunting, and then went to sleep in a dream. He heard a voice that said, "Alexis, why rush around so fruitlessly? I will teach you to catch men." He became a monk at the age of 20, and in time became Metropolitan of Moscow. He twice went among the golden horde of Tatar, once to suit the wrath of Vedeve Khan against the Russian people, and the second time at the invitation of Amurat Khan to cure his wife's blindness. This woman had been blind for 3 years, but she was healed and her vision restored. When Alexis prayed and anointed her with holy water, after a life of great endeavor and fruitfulness, Alexis entered into rest in 1378 at the age of 83, and went to the court of the Lord. Our Holy Mother, Mary Marius. Mary was a woman with great courage. After the death of her mother, her father desired to become a monk. Mary would not be separated from him, so they decided to go together to a men's monastery. Mary with short hair and in man's raiment as a youth. Her father died, and Mary became a monk and received the name Marius. There was an inn near the monastery, and the innkeeper's daughter fell in love with a pious monk, Marius. After pursuing him without success, she accused Marius of unlawful relations with her, because she had known some other men and borne him a son. Mary did not defend herself and was driven forth with scorn from the monastery. With a strange child in her care, she lived for 3 years in a grove belonging to the monastery, enduring hunger and hatred and every sort of hardship and privation. As a result of all this, the innkeeper's daughter became deranged. A little later, Mary died. Immediately after her death, it was discovered that the monk Marius was a woman. As soon as the innkeeper's daughter touched the relics of St. Mary, she was healed of her insanity and confessed her terrible sin. St. Mary entered into rest and went to eternal joy in 503. St. Anthony, Patriarch of Constantinople, a man of great compassion. He was at first an ascetic, then Patriarch in the time of Emperor Leo the Wise. in year 889 to 912. He professed his father monk and built a monastery over the relics of Calia. Saint Calia. Saint Calia was generous to the poor from pure Christian compassion, both as a young girl and later as a married woman. Her husband was rich, but he was a hard man. Returning on one occasion from his work, he found that his wife had given away all his wealth to the poor. He thereupon killed her. But God glorified this compassionate soul in that her relics healed many of the sick. Convinced by this of her sanctity, the Holy Patriarch Anthony built a monastery over her relics. For consideration, St. John Chrysostom quotes the following example from the life of St. Meletius, demonstrating the true nobility of this great hierarch. Meletius was unjustly exiled from Antioch. When the governor got into the coach, seated the saint beside him, and then began to drive hurriedly through the square, the citizens rushed from all sides with pebbles, which fell like hail on the governor's head. The people being loath to part with their archbishop, and being ready to part with life rather than with his saint. But what did the blessed man do? Seeing the stones flying, he covered the governor's head with his cloak. He taught shame his enemy by his great meekness, and gave his followers a lesson in the goodness we must show to those who insult us. How it is not enough just to do no evil, but to use our strength to protect them from those dangers that threaten them. On Meletius' outward appearance, St. Chrysostom writes further, it was truly the greatest delight to see his holy face, and not only when he thought or spoke, when people only look at him. He forgives. At dawn on the 13th, while the monks were singing the morning office in the church, their voices reaching the dying man's cell, St. Simeon's face lighted up once more, and he gave his soul to God. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you. Please kindly like and share this, and subscribe. Share it to as many as possible number of people so that it will be of spiritual benefit to their souls. Thank you, and may God bless you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, I want true God. Amen.